Friday evening, so let's have some bourbon together, shall we? Good evening. It is June 20th, 8:53 p.m. I'm enjoying a little Willet bourbon. Not a very high proof, but tasty nonetheless. Hope you're doing well. Honestly, the reason I have an announcement, a small announcement. The reason I'm coming on today to do a QuickCast was because I thought the contrast of the basketball and the football team just in its thumbnail was enough to have a QuickCast. I'm not kidding. So it could be pretty short unless the conversation gets rolling. My wife is actually, she's toiling. She's making us a frozen pizza. Big night here at the Boiler Down House. So before I dig in too deeply to all the many things we're going to talk about, let me thank our friends at Homefield Apparel. Head over to homefieldapparel.com. Right now, they got some mystery packs that are on sale. I got an email from Connor and Company that said, grab some mystery packs. I think they're $53 for 3 shirts. Not going to beat that deal if you're a gambling person, you know, if you're into that sort of thing. Also, the Play Hard hat. Not the Play Hard hat, but the Play Hard hat. You should check that out too. Homefieldapparel.com, enter Boiled25 at checkout for 15% off. And also, when you're on campus and it's a beautiful summer evening, what do? You head over to the best place on campus after Rossade or Mackey, in my opinion. We talked about Cary a little bit the other night. That's also a sacred place for me. Near to my heart, even though a lot of people make fun of Cary Quad. I still like it, but nobody makes fun of AJ's. Nobody goes into Rossade. So head towards the fire station, look for the blue and black signage, and then go in there and say hi to the nicest staff you're going to find on campus. You're going to have great food. You're going to have great service. Maybe have a little brew if you're of legal age and that's your thing. I don't drink beer. So, but on the bottom of your beer, if it's game day, you'll get a Boiled Sports Magnet. Burgers, beef, beer. That's AJ's. AJ's by the fire station. EatAJ's.com. All right. So like I said, the thumbnail was enough reason for me to go quick tonight. And I went and I did a little bit of research because the last show, might have requested to talk a little bit about ESPN's prediction that was based on computer projections of Purdue having 3 wins. According to I think Google's one of the AI bots scoured the internets and told me the average win total for Purdue, according to the prognostication, is 3.5 wins. And I think that's Vegas has it at 3.5 as well for the over-under. Boilermakers are in the midst of a big rebuild, maybe one of the biggest we've seen. We've watched Purdue go from being a divisional champ to not even an also-ran in the minds of many college football fans in just a couple of years. That's tough medicine. That's tough to swallow. And Barry Odom has a hard assignment ahead of him, and I think he can do some big things. I think it's going to be really hard this first year. Really difficult. Golden Black talked about the other night that Ryan Brown is pretty much, I think Tom Dienert talked about this, that Ryan Brown is pretty much the guy at quarterback. It's not official. There's been an announcement like that, but he's going to start at quarterback, which is a good thing because he's a guy that everybody likes. You can rally around him, and that can go a long way. The problem we have is I don't know. I look at this offense, and I see a lot of incomplete parts. If you want to go back and look at my assessment at personnel, check out the podcast from 2 weeks ago where I went down the roster. I looked at all the guys coming in. I like the guys that are still there. It's tough. That's all. And it's going to take a very organized coach who has very good systems, who's done it for a while. Oh, wait, Purdue's got that in football. So that's my thoughts on football. Nobody likes Purdue. Nobody even worse than not anybody liking. Many people in the media don't even think about Purdue. And that's that apathy we talked about as a fan base that had set in, and the reason that Mike Babinski had to make a move at coach. Well, nationally, the media, they think the same thing. Second thing I want to talk to before I talk to you guys. There's not a lot of you here, but I do appreciate everybody's here. Second thing I want to talk about is, of course, the Pacers win last night. That was fun. That was a ton of fun. Defense created offense. Carlisle has earned his money this postseason. He seems to be playing chess when everybody else is playing checkers. He's been great all postseason. Oklahoma City is the best team in the NBA. Their record shows it. They were consistent. They've got great talent. But what Carlisle's done, a couple different things. He just makes small adjustments and they work really well. But the big thing is the motivation. Pacers look good. It was nice to see Halliburton really busting his ass, but knocking down some big shots. That was huge. And of course, TJ McCollum was awesome. He's the motor, made things go. Some pretty funny stuff out there, making fun of McCollum's effort. And I made a joke at his expense to my son via text, which I'm not going to repeat right here because it might be offensive to some. But I'll do that in private. You'll find if you know me. TJ McCollum, though, his energy level was incredible. He kept the Pacers at a high energy level as they were trying to get over the hump early in the first half, but they got there quickly, extended the lead, got it out to 30 points, near 30 points in the third quarter, kind of shrunk down for a minute. Never got super interesting, but got enough that I think it got down to high teens. The lead got the high teens in the third quarter, and then the Pacers put them away. And by the end, there's lots of garbage time being played. You even had James Johnson get tossed, which is a lot of fun because that's really why he's on the roster, to be an enforcer. So he came in, he mixed it up, got 2 technicals, and laughed as he went up the tunnel to go to the locker room towards the end of the game. That was a lot of fun. Series is tied 3-3, goes back to Oklahoma City. It's a 1-game best of 1 series now. And that's pretty fun for Pacers fans. I heard something by a friend of mine. I don't think he comes on my podcast, my stream very often. He's not a Purdue fan, but every now and again he'll tell me he listened to something, and I thought it was interesting, but I don't think I'm throwing him under the bus. The cost of tickets. And I sound like an old man, and that's okay, because I think many of you would think I was an old man, but many of you are my contemporaries. But the cost of tickets to get into a playoff game this year in Indianapolis in a nosebleed seat is upwards of $400. I'm not surprised by the price, but it's like, that's smelling salts for me. I'm like, that's a ton of money. And it makes a lot of sense. But for me, spending that much money, it's wild. It was a great atmosphere, though. It's pretty cool. I've seen a couple of my friends who are willing to nut up and pay big money to get into Gainbridge. I love seeing that because the people that I know that are willing to pay that money, most of them are really big fans. But one of the most interesting things, one of the most Purdue connections, of course, is Mike Berghoff sits courtside. And I think that's why Painter was at the game earlier in the week, because he was sitting in Berghoff's seats with him. I believe Mike Berghoff was there at the same time. So that's kind of a neat connection, and good to see some Boilermakers up front. Different color gold, but a lot of Purdue fans. And this is united. The thing that's been fun is on Twitter, you fans and Purdue fans, a lot of us can meet at that place talking about the Pacers and watching them dominate and enjoying the kind of like high-fiving bar atmosphere, virtual bar atmosphere on Twitter. It's one of my favorite things during a big victory, being on there. During a loss, it's a dark, awful, horrible place. But it's been fun. It's been fun postseason regardless. All right. Couple of you are on here. I really appreciate Ted Burke. He says, good evening. How are you, Ted? He continues, drinking wine. Sorry, no bourbon. So we can't partake together. That's too bad. But tell me what type of wine you're drinking. I like deeper red wines. I tend to lean that way. I wish I could tell you I drank enough wine to say what my favorite is, but the darker and the deeper the red, the more I enjoy it. It tends to be that way. But I like whites too. So tell me what you're drinking. Marshall Briggs is here, and he says, good evening from the beautiful Florida Panhandle. I bet it's humid and hot down there, but it's about to get humid and hot here. But you get to be near the ocean, which is awesome. So I don't know where you are on the Panhandle, but there's some great locales there, and a lot of fun to be near the water anytime. So that's great. Thanks for checking in. Todd Singer, my pal, says, fighting a cold. He's soldiering on, but no bourbon for him tonight. And Todd, the bourbon you got me, Bardstown, right? Very, very good. It was a finished rye, if I remember correctly, relatively high proof. Good stuff. Very interesting flavor. I don't know if you actually tried that one before you gave me the bottle, but really good stuff. And the other night I had a tasting with a couple friends, my neighbors who are bourbon drinkers, and we went through, and I started light and got a little more hefty as we went along. And that's a good bourbon. That's a good whiskey, pardon me. Great rye. Nick LaRue says, listening from day one of my vacation in Sonoma, It is wine week. So that you're not the only one drinking wine. So that's good. But that's awesome. Beautiful country, being in wine country right now. Enjoy your trip. Enjoy your vacation. That sounds awesome. Ted Berkey wishes Todd well. Says, get well, Todd. And I'll say the same thing, Todd. Get well. Hope. Is it worse or better to have a summer cold? I mean, having a winter cold, it's not fun. But having a summer cold, it sucks because you're kind of like, man, you know, the chills do weird things to you if it's a bad cold, if it gets towards one of those viruses. But I would say worse to have a summer cold. Let me know what you think in the comments. But the reason I think it's worse is because it just doesn't make any sense, right? You know, like everybody gets colds in the cold weather, especially in the Midwest. But I don't know how you're feeling, Todd. But Nate Dolans is here. Says, what kind of frozen pizza? Lou Malnati's. That's delicious. That's way better. It's pretty good. Yes, that's very, very good. We are not going that classy. I don't know what we've got. What we have this tradition is we just dress up. If we do frozen pizza, you know, we'll put fresh garlic on it and some herbs. And tonight, my wife chopped up some bacon, put that on there, and some ricotta. Dress it up a little bit. It's going to be delicious. I don't know what brand it was. I just saw it before it went in the oven. So very high class, very highbrow. So, but that would be better. I agree. That's good frozen pizza. Ted Berge says over 70 new players on the team. Sure. That's awesome. How can you predict anything? That's a great point, Ted. And it's something I thought about when I thought about those simulations that the FPI is based upon. Purdue's 3-win total is based upon simulations of what? I mean, Purdue is a ragtag bunch of guys that have tried to find their feet under. The biggest contingent, of course, is from UNLV, but the rest of them, it's really hard to figure out what Purdue is going to be. And that's why I say 4 wins is a really big jump from where they were and from where they were at the lowest, darkest time this offseason when they really didn't have a roster at all. So, yeah, I think 4 wins is a huge victory. I'll be real honest. If you get to 5, holy moly, what a Herculean coaching effort. So, but good point, Ted. Marshall Briggs says, beat out headed to OKC Sunday. Yeah. No, I'm not doing that. It would be fun to be in there just because I think that is enough fun to legitimize paying a lot of money and going to somewhat hostile. Their fans don't seem brutal to me. Tell me if I'm wrong. They're loud, but they don't seem brutal. Like I see some fan bases. New York comes to mind right away. The Knicks fans are just New Yorkers. And no offense to anybody who's from New York. I'm sure you agree with me. I'm positive you are. I lived in Jersey for a little while. My uncle lived in Jersey, so I spent some time out there. I lived in the Boston area. Spent a lot of times coming down to Jersey, coming into New York to do stuff because I love Manhattan. It's one of the best places to visit in the world, but people can be a little rough. So Marshall Briggs says, so what I'm hearing is Boiled Sports will have a live on location coverage for the finals. That's what you're hearing? This just in? So here, I'll give my announcement. Thank you for the reminder. I don't think I'm going to have any podcast next week. And the reason is I am it's going to be really tough for me to do it. I'm not going to get too deep into it. So that's why I got 2 in this week. So that counts. Give me my averages to get 1 a week. I said I'd try to bring 1 a week to you. And so this has got to count. Let's see. Need to be inversed. Andrew says, I was a big Pacers fan in the 90s. Same as a kid. I guess I was a kid kind of in the 90s, but I haven't followed the NBA much since then. This run has let me relive the old glory days a bit. Really cool. And I think that's the thing it's done for a lot of us. And I'll just say us, the group of Pacers fans or former Pacers fans have been really entertained by this. My wife, I think I told you, she knows how I feel about fair weather fans in college sports. She knows how I feel about, splitting your loyalties among college teams. So her conscience was eating at her. She said, do I have the right to wear a Pacers shirt? Because I bought her a playoff shirt. LBD bought it from me for me from Dick's Sporting Goods, and it said it was the finals. It's a really cool shirt, classic, simple. And I said, yeah, you've earned it. She was a Pacers fan when she was a kid. This is a pro basketball team. This is for entertainment. The blood running thicker than water or whatever. I don't even know how you do that with pro sports. I really don't. I don't understand that. Although I do think it's neat that there's some people that live and die by this. I'm not that guy, but I've just been extremely entertained. And like you, Andrew, I've been able to enjoy this run and reminisce a little bit about the good old days. if the Pacers can upset Oklahoma City and win a world championship, all of a sudden this becomes even, it's more momentous, more special. Halliburton takes his seat among the truly elite Indiana players, right? The best of all time, the greatest of all time, even though he had a game that he didn't hit a field goal from the floor. Nobody's going to remember that. I think everyone, regardless of what happens, I think everyone is going to remember the effort and the shots. The shot making by this team has been incredible, but mostly for Halliburton for just being stone cold and making big shot after big shot after big shot after big shot. So incredible. And then the fifth big shot was Pascal Siakam, if I remember correctly. Ted Berkey says 2010 Petite Verdot. Okay. All right. Whoa. That sounds fancy. I don't know how much a bottle of 2010 Petite Verdot would cost, but I bet it's more than I pay for a bottle. Travis Brennan says, bar's low for me. Just keep it close. Yeah, so just wants to be entertained in the finals. I think that's good. Like I said on Twitter, the only fitting way for this series to end is Halliburton hitting a game winner, right? My son and I just keep talking about big shots and what this season's going to mean, what the postseason's going to mean to the media and how they're going to run with things and what fans are going to talk about, especially in the offseason, but for years to come. I think it's already happened. What we've seen is unprecedented stuff. Hitting that many game winners is a career, right? And he did it in one postseason. The Pacers, the amount of comebacks they had in the last, 90 seconds of these games, again, it's generational. It's never happened before. It's never going to happen again. The records are incredible. So I think we've already seen that history. Ryan Lewis says, all wisdom teeth pulled today, so no bourbon. Oh, my gosh. Hats off to you. I can tell you, when I had my wisdom teeth, I don't know how old you are, Ryan, but I had mine pulled at 17 years old, and I was absolutely delusional from all the drugs, the painkillers. Like, I was out of my head for hours, and I don't know if that's normal. I can tell you I'm not very good under anesthesia, even if that's not even that big of an anesthesia. But I'm sorry you're going through that. I'm glad you're here. Hope you're feeling better quickly. I relate. I told my son and daughter, I said, I still can feel the sockets from where my wisdom teeth were pulled, and I'm 49. I turned 50 in August, and that's a tough procedure, but you're over pretty quickly. My son, it was like amount of hours. He was fine, but he did it when he was 16, and obviously tougher than his dad. No question about that. Marshall Briggs says, I said this on Twitter, but imagine if Boiler Ball lives up to expectations and Mackey is as loud as Gainbridge was last night. So you're saying, can you imagine if Purdue basketball lives up to what the expectation is, and imagine Mackey Arena being like the atmosphere of Gainbridge? Yeah, it's a fun thing when we think about, I want to say this now. I want to set it down in June 20th, 2025, before the season is even reachable for us in our mind. Let's put the flag in the ground. Let's enjoy the season for what it is. Boiled Sports watchers, listeners, I think we are a more grown up portion of the fans. I know we're silly at times, but level-headed, I'd say. I mean that. I know I'm not always level-headed, but I think you guys are. And so I would like to say, hopefully I can lead the charge there and say, let's just enjoy this for what it is. Interesting thing, I've had comments on Twitter and here. One of the commenters today said that thought Fletch Lawyer will lead all Boilermakers in scoring with 18 points a game. Talked about the reason is because they'll be able to spread the scoring around. And I said, if that happens, Purdue is going to be really good. If he averages 18, that means there's a lot of things happening there. And he's drawing a ton of attention away from the middle. Clough, TKR, and Jacobson will feast if that's the case. That's the case. And then on top of that, you got the sophomores. Like I said, Cox and Harris are going to make big jumps from the exterior. Murphy could be huge from deep. And there's this guy named Braden Smith that Yeah, he can bomb too. So that would be incredible. Another person on Twitter said Jacobson will leave at the end of the season to go to the NBA. And I said, I'll take it. I'll take it because that means Purdue is at a special season and they've showcased Jacobson because he's that good. If he's that good this year, which he could be, I just watched that clip. We posted on Twitter if you haven't seen it, of some of the highlights of the team, this, U20, not U10. Not U10, Ron Gable. U20 USA basketball team getting it together, and Jacobson is a real player. He's legit up there. Let's keep going. Swag123 says, worse because you can't breathe. What does that mean? Oh, we're talking about the wisdom teeth? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? I don't know what you're talking about, but I think that's what you're talking about. Well, I could breathe. I just couldn't. I was just out of my head, like I said. I think that's what you're talking about. Marshall Briggs says, also along those lines, Jacobson underperformed at the USA camp this week and didn't look healthy. He's got 4 months, in my opinion. It will be fine. Thoughts? He looked really good in that highlight and fundamentally absolutely sound. He's not, like you said, he's not all the way healthy yet, but you can tell that he's incredibly fundamentally sound. Keeps the ball really high and goes right to attack the rim. If that's underperforming, we're in for a treat. So Swag123 says, I heard Jacobson is headed to Switzerland though. So does that mean, is that because with Team USA? I don't know anything about this. So could be. I need to be inverse. I had 2 comments. They just retracted. I watched them get retracted. That is a 21-minute QuickCast. That is legit. No singing today. I apologize. Larry McLean says, when in August, me the 13th. What? Is there a Friday the 13th in August? I don't know what's going on there with that comment. Sorry, Larry. Marshall Briggs says, underperforming according to the experts. Yeah, he's not underperforming too poorly, right? Because number one, he made the team coming off a broken leg. That in itself is pretty noteworthy, right? He's. I wish I could underperform as well as him in life in general. So let's see, August the 16th here. What is that? What are you guys talking about? What code am I reading? My birthday? Oh, there you go. I got it. Okay, gotcha. Okay, now I'm caught up. So I'm caught up from the old comments. Larry says, when in August is my birthday. His is the 13th. Marshall Briggs is the 16th. B. Dowd's is August 4th, 1975. So, Mrs. Boiler Dow is August 5th, 1976. So, but easy to remember the birthday. That's why I married her, so I could keep my brain straight. Yeah, so I do turn 50 in August. It's kind of a big deal. I don't know where you are, Marshall. You look like you're in much better shape than me on the Twitter picture. So I'm guessing you're younger than me. But I can't tell anything from a small icon, so sorry. So August birthdays, cheers. And thanks to everybody for tuning in today. I would say it's a legit quick cast, 22 minutes, 23 minutes right now. And 40 in August, so Marshall, it'll be 40. I'm just joking. Great observation by one of my best friends the other day. He just turned 50 just days ago. And he said, you know what the bad thing about 50 is? I said, what? And he said, we turned 60 in 10 years. And I was like, holy moly. And guess what happens, Marshall? You already know this at 40 is how time accelerates. It's an incredible, I don't know if it's a trick or what it is, but time keeps getting faster as we get older. And yes, these next 10 years are going to absolutely fly if I'm blessed to live 10 more years. So happy birthday to you early, both Marshall and who would I say up there? I want to make sure I get it. August 13th, Larry. So time is flying. So God bless you guys. All you birthday boys and girls out there, if you've got one coming up, hope it's special for you. I always say, hope it's magical, because as a parent, most of you know that birthdays are really no longer magical. If we're being quite frank, Need to Be Inverse is checking in this time, not retracting. Says, glad you hopped on. What? Glad you hopped on, B Dad. Hope you for the show. Yep. No problem. So you and Mrs. B Dad enjoy the pizza and the weekend. Yes, thank you. Same to you. And I think, if I remember correctly, was my wife there when we met at Mackey? I don't remember. I don't remember if she's at that game or not. Marshall says, have an amazing weekend. Same to you. And cheers to everyone. And that's it. I'm not going to look down. I'm going to block the comments. I'm going for they kind of they distract me. But that's it. For real. God bless you. Hammer down. Talk to you soon. Maybe next week. Maybe the week after, probably. If something breaks, I'll hopefully get on here. But talk to you soon. Check Twitter if you want some lively conversation about nothing. We'll see you.